Well, hello there, and welcome to episode 123 of She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. This is your host, Kinsey Roberts. Thank you for joining me today. We have a really great episode today together because it is a Tip Tuesday episode, and I know how you all love those. I love recording them. And these are real-time survey results for the annual survey that I have sent to our couples over at Vista View Events at Open Heart Ranch, which is the wedding venue I own in Colorado. So that's what I do in the wedding industry. If you're new here, I am a venue owner. At the end of the year, I like to send a survey out to all of the couples that we served that year and ask how we can do better, ask what they liked about having their wedding with us, and other various particular questions or specific questions. And I'm actually going to get into all of those questions today. Before I do that, I want to let you know that a lot of these questions I took directly from Kim Wensel back in episode 116. That was an incredible tactical episode, and I hope you'll listen to it after this episode. The title of her episode 116 was 6 Actionable Steps You Can Take to Attract Your Ideal Client. And within that episode, Kim really gave us some strategies to use to gain valuable, keyword, valuable feedback from our clients that we can then implement strategically into our businesses as wedding vendors. And I took her words to heart. I just plucked out her advice and I implemented it into my business. And truly, I hope you will too. Maybe not necessarily her advice if it doesn't align with your business, but I really hope you are taking a lot of these tactics. Not a lot, but we're taking these tactics that we share on the podcast. And testing them in your business. I really want the podcast to be helpful for you. So that is one way I'm doing it. So I thought I would share this with you to encourage you to send out a survey if you haven't yet. And 2, take these questions if you want to. I don't mind. I will post this survey in the show notes so that you can, if you want to use my exact questions and just insert your business name, I don't mind that at all. Let me tell you how I delivered this survey to our clients so that you get those logistics. I sent a mass email using our email system. It's called ConvertKit. I did personalize the email with first names. And so when someone got the email, it said, "Hey, Kinsey, this is Kinsey," you know what I mean? And at the end I said, "Thank you so much, Kinsey. I hope you let me know if you need anything," or what have you. The email was longer than that, but that's what I used. I uploaded a list to a specific form in ConvertKit so that I was only sending an email to our ideal clients from 2018 so I could really get their feedback. And then the form creator that I use to ask these questions is Google Forms. It's free. It comes if you have a Google email account, and I just branded it to our brand colors because you can customize the form. I added a little message at the top of the form. I titled it our feedback survey of 2018, and then I sent it along in that email that I mentioned through ConvertKit. So those are the logistics around how I deployed the survey. It was extremely easy. Google Forms is free, and I pay $29 a month for ConvertKit, in case you were wondering. So, and again, I mentioned that I took a lot of these questions directly from my episode with Kim Wensel back in episode 116. So have a listen there if you would like to. Alrighty, I wanted to share the exact questions that I asked in my survey and the specific reasons for asking these questions, and to give you some encouragement on your own survey if you'd like to do that. So question number 1 that I asked our couples is, as you were planning your wedding in general, where did you go to get helpful planning information, tips, find your vendors, etc. Now, I am not a wedding planner, as we've already established. I'm a venue owner, but we are deeply invested in our clients, and I care where they are going to get their information. You know why? 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to be able to become that place for our clients. I want them to come to us for helpful planning information. But number 2, I want to know where they're already living online to find that information, because other clients who are similar to them are probably doing the same thing. And then I can go live in those places too and meet them where they're already at and answer questions and be helpful, instead of constantly asking them to come to us, come to our Instagram, come to our website, come to our Facebook page. I'll just go find them wherever they are, not in a creepy way, of course, and be helpful in that location. So I hope that makes sense. So that question number 1, as you were planning your wedding in general, where did you go to get helpful planning information, tips, etc.? Question number 2 I asked our clients was, what were one or two things that were frustrating about your wedding planning experience? Again, I want to know what their frustrations were. Planning a wedding can be frustrating and it can be stressful. And I want to know if there's anything that we can do as a venue to alleviate those frustrations. And that's why I asked this question. Now, again, I'm not a wedding planner, but we have a unique approach to our couples. We are deeply invested. We're very involved in a good way. We help our vendors when they get to the venue. We don't just go hide in our office. And so we care about these answers. And I want to know, how can I alleviate these frustrations for future couples? And this has been a very eye-opening question, and I'm happy that we asked it. And so those, as you can tell, those first two questions are just general. Tell us about your planning experience. People like to talk about what they did and give advice. So that's been helpful to kick off the survey to get people feeling comfortable with providing feedback. And then now we get into the more specific questions about Vista View Events, about the wedding venue. I ask, how did you first hear about Vista View Events? We always want to know where our couples are coming from. That is just, as you know, I feel like that's self-explanatory. Why do we want to know where they're coming from? So that we can find more couples in that location. This one has been really helpful for me because what I've learned is that a lot of our couples are finding us through Facebook. So where do you think I'm going to invest more of my finances and my time in 2019? Facebook ads, of course, because that's where our couples are finding us. And we have a really good benefit here in the wedding industry. Sometimes, like what I've been noticing on my She Creates Business podcast survey, sometimes people don't remember how they found us, but we have this benefit in the wedding industry that it's a kind of a one-time thing, and clients are really excited about working with us, and the day is so magical and it's so memorable that they don't forget how they found us. If you're a photographer and someone has been following you for a year or two on Instagram because they know they want to book you as soon as they get engaged, they're going to remember that. We had a couple who found us on Facebook when we were still in construction, and she wasn't even engaged yet. The bride and the groom hadn't become engaged, but she kind of was hoping it was coming. And she found us on Facebook when we were still in the construction phases, and I was posting those construction updates. And so once she got engaged about a year later, she found us again. She was like, yep, going back to Vista View Events, and booked us. So that's really fun. That's, I think that speaks to how excited our couples are. And by ours, I mean yours and mine, in our industry, and they remember where they found us. So it's a good question to ask. And then again, like I mentioned, you might learn something surprising that all of your clients are finding you through Facebook, and that helps you create a marketing plan for the following year. Alrighty. This question, I know for sure I took directly from Kim Wensel back in episode 116 because I thought it was a very, very great question. Thinking back to when you first found Vista View Events, what questions or hesitations did you have about booking our venue? That's a tough question, right? We don't want to remind people about the hesitations that they may have had before they booked us, but this is where we need this answer. We need to know where we can do better in our marketing. We need to know where we can do better in our client education. We need to know where we can just do better in general for our clients. That's why we're here. We're here to serve our clients. So we need to ask questions like this. What did you hesitate about booking with us? Because I want to alleviate that hesitation for our future couples before they even have it. So while it could be hard in the immediate future to hear it, it's going to help you and serve you well into the future by, fixing it if it's something you need to fix. And I know for us, there's been a few answers where I'm like, okay, that's something I can fix today. I can go and make that change today. The next question I asked is, and I also got this from Kim Wensel, is what is one thing that surprised you about working with us? This question and the next question, which I'll share in just a second, have been amazing for copy on our website. These have been marvelous answers. Some of them, like one thing that surprised you about working with us, some of those things are, I do want to fix that communication piece in our wedding experience guide. And a lot of it has been, this is amazing. I'm just going to copy and paste this and put it in our marketing copy because they are couples speaking to other couples. And so I mentioned that the following question, which is now, what did you love about having your wedding at Vista View Events? Both of those questions have really given us some incredible copy to use on our website. And for this question I just mentioned, what did you love about having your wedding at Vista View Events? Notice how I framed that question. I didn't ask in general, what did you love about your wedding? I specifically am leading a client to remember what they loved about having their wedding at our venue. I want to know those specific details, and it really helps them look back on the day and remember what was special to them, what was nice for them, and what they loved about being a VVE couple. So that's a leading question. And I think that our survey questions should all be leading. It's okay to have a few yes or no questions if truly you only need to know a yes or a no, but we need those questions so that we can get valuable feedback. Alrighty. The next question I asked, and again, this can be a question that might be hard to get the answers to, but I appreciate it, is what can we do better in the future as a wedding venue? We constantly need to be improving. We constantly need to be thinking about how we can serve our clients better, and who better to ask than our ideal couples? I care about their feedback. They are our ideal couples. We adore them. We loved having their wedding at our venue, and I want to know, what can I do better? I trust them implicitly. Like I said, they're our ideal client. I trust them. I believe them, and we're going to make these changes. If it's something that we can do and that it aligns with our values, we're going to make those changes. And now notice I said if we can do it and it aligns with our values, we're not just over here like, okay, we need to change our whole life because of this survey. We take these surveys results, we operate it through our own lens, or look at it through our own lens. I say that on the podcast all the time. And then I'm going to take out things that we definitely can change and we agree with, that we aligns with our values. Like there's some things someone was like, I don't know why I have to have special event insurance. And I was like, that's not changing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. That's not something I'm going to change. But that person provided incredible feedback. Like, if I have to, please make it easy for me to find it. Great. That's something I can change. So that is the third to last question. Okay, so now we're on the second to last question, this is a little bit longer of a question, but again, it has really yielded some excellent information for us. And that question is, imagine you're chatting with a couple you know who are thinking about booking at Vista View Events. What would you say to them that you remember needing to hear? And again, this has been some really great information. I'm so glad we asked this question. And it's been something that I've enjoyed reading because it is kind of their advice to other couples. And it really aligns with, if you've been married for a while like I have, you know that the wedding is amazing and you'll never forget it. But really, your relationship is about your marriage. Your marriage is about the two of you. It's about your life together. It's about so much more than just the wedding day. And it's really been fun to hear these couples give advice to other couples, saying funny things like, what I would tell myself is that you're not going to actually care on the day whether you chose the slate gray or the deep gray tablecloths. And isn't that so true? And I think that's kind of a fun anecdote that we can share with our future couples, especially if they're having, a frustrating time, or if things are getting a little bit chaotic, or things of that nature. We can just remind them, you're not alone. Here's some advice from a past couple. And then my final question was a very easy, just click 1 through 10. Would you recommend Vista View Events to a friend? 1 being no, 10 being 100% yes. And I gave them that quick win, easy question to answer at the end, and then they were done. One thing I did want to share is that I made their name, so giving us their name, optional. Some people are very comfortable giving feedback, and some people are not. But I didn't want their name, I'm stuttering. I didn't want our couples to have to include their name if they wouldn't feel comfortable telling us the truth at that point. Some people are very shy, or they just don't do surveys that often, or, they personally know us. We have a relationship with, we had a relationship with all of our couples. And so I didn't want that to be a barrier to filling out this survey and truly providing feedback if they wanted to. So I made the name optional, and you can make that optional on your own survey. If you definitely want to have their name, then of course don't make it optional and make it required. But I wanted to, give them that courtesy of saying, hey, it's okay. You could tell us the truth, and either way, whether or not I have your name, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but you are welcome not to leave your name if that makes you feel more comfortable, because they're my clients. I want them to feel comfortable 100% of the time. That is it. That's what I asked. This has been one of the best things I've done for my business this year. I cannot wait to implement some of this feedback and become even better in 2019. Again, I really encourage you to do this for your own business. I'm going to put my questions in a little PDF in the show notes. Just click it and you can save it to your, email it to yourself or whatever. You can find the show notes by tapping on your podcast player. If you're on Apple Podcast and you're already on She Creates Business on your screen, just scroll up. That's how you're going to find the notes. Don't tap, just scroll up. That's where you'll find the episode notes, and links are in purple in Apple Podcasts. And yeah, I'll put it in there, and DM me on Instagram if you have any questions about sending a survey, or if you kind of just need an encouragement of a fellow wedding venue or a fellow vendor that, if you're nervous to send a survey, DM me. I'll give you some encouragement. Trust me, you're going to love this feedback. Like I say, in the immediate, it might be like, oh gosh, that stings a little bit, but it's going to be so beneficial down the road. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tip Tuesday. Again, we talked all about client feedback and how to send a survey, and I'm happy to help you with it if you need help. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to She Creates Business. Please take a minute and head to iTunes to leave an honest review so we can help more wedding pros find the show.